Hi, I'm Anjale.
And I'm Ruth.
And this is the first episode of the Bad Taste Show. So our first topic for today, we're going to be discussing James Corden and all the drama around that. Yep, oh no, exactly. Basically what's been going on is a restaurant owner, Keith McNally of the Balthazar restaurants, posted on Instagram and he said, James Corden is banned from all my restaurants. And the public reaction was very, very excited. Did you kind of hear about this? Yeah.
I feel like at this point, when I see James Corden trending on Twitter, you know it's going to be some kind of like diva scandal.
Yeah, it's never going to be good.
He's kind of at this point sort of the male version of Ellen. I feel like people in the UK care more as well about James Corden because he has that kind of like icon status here from like the Gavin and Stacey days.
Yeah.
Before. So seeing this kind of like very sort of pompous reputation he's started going for him is kind of a lot more like, oh wow, he's changed kind of vibes.
Yeah, no, like I don't know about you, but I miss the old kind of James Corden. Like I miss Gavin and Stacey. I miss like him doing like the comic relief thing. I feel like James Corden then he was like at his prime, and ironically when he got like the most famous and came to America, like it's just been such a downfall. So he was accused of being really horrible by this restaurant owner. Apparently they gave him like the wrong order and he like swore at the waiters and was like, if you don't fix this order now and give me free drinks, I'm going to give you a bad Yelp review. Which is kind of funny.
Why Yelp?
Yeah, Yelp is an interesting, it's quite specific.
Who is keeping track of James
Corden? And like in the year of 2022, who is using Yelp?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't think I've used Yelp in about 5 years at least.
Maybe Yelp is really popular in America right now.
Yeah, maybe. And then the second accusation was that his wife had ordered an egg yolk omelette and the whites and the yolk had mixed, and James Corden was not happy about that.
Who wants an egg yolk omelette?
I know.
Really?
That was kind of the oddest part of the story to me because that's quite an interesting choice. Yeah. I guess like there's kind of that assumption there as well that he's not, I don't know, maybe I just made this up in my head, but that he's not like the common like Hollywood type because he's a comedian and he's British, like he's not American, and I feel like people had that feeling of like, oh, he's just like us, and then to hear that he's kind of exactly like every other like Hollywood story of being like a pompous asshole.
People keep saying that he's kind of been like Americanized since he got to the US, and this whole idea of like Hollywood fame getting to your head, that's what's happened to him since he went over. But
yeah.
Have you seen, oh my god, did you see the thing where it was I don't remember what site it was on, but someone was saying that like he was on a plane.
Yes, I saw this one. This was insane. Like this was actually the worst.
Basically, James Corden was on a plane and then they sat this woman with a baby next to him, and he was obviously, he didn't say anything. He was silent the whole time, put his headphones in for this whole flight, and everyone was like, oh, they thought he was going to freak out because of this reputation that he's built. And then at like the end of the flight, the woman was like, well, can you just at least like help me with the bags? And it turns out she's supposedly James Corden's wife.
Yeah, and it was his baby.
He just didn't help with the baby at all, which is obviously allegedly. But
also, I can't believe that it's true because it's just so much better.
I want to believe it's true.
You want to believe.
It's such a random story.
Yeah. And it's like, why? Because also that story had come out like a few years ago or something, like not now. So it's not even like this person who said the story was trying to like kind of gain off of like the building, like, you know, again, downfall of James Corden. So like what else would that person gain from the story? So I want to believe it's true.
No, I know,
because it's so bad.
It's so typical, I guess, with celebrity rumors that as soon as one thing happens, more things, even if they happened in the past,
exactly,
coming out. So
James Corden actually issued an apology publicly on the show.
I was wondering if he was going to say anything.
Yeah, so it was interesting because I was watching his video and he obviously apologized and was like, you know, I'm very sorry, what I did was wrong. But also he was like defending himself.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
which like
typical.
I know.
Celebrity apology. Like there's never like a I did this.
Yeah.
I understand why it was wrong and I'm sorry. It's always like a
but no, it's so true. So he was like, Oh, well, actually, I wasn't mad because they mixed the egg white. I was mad because my wife is very allergic to it. And also, it wasn't that they messed up the order once, they messed it up 3 times. And it's like, okay.
And
the fact that it's been multiple occasions, and it was only once that
Exactly.
they brought up the allergic food or whatever. So I don't think that's really an excuse. And also, I think it's an interesting way to address your apology with like a bunch of excuses. I think, you know, over the last 10 years with like the popularity of YouTube and like people being cancelled online, we see so many of these like YouTube apology videos or like apology videos in general, and there's just never been a good one.
That's the thing, people never seem to get it right.
They don't know how to apologise.
I feel like it's so easy to almost look at apologies that they've done in the past, to sit back and be like, why does this feel like wrong? And yet somehow people just keep repeating the exact same mistake.
Yeah, no, exactly.
In these apologies. No, if the owner like hadn't said anything or wouldn't have had the platform to kind of cause the stir that it's caused, he wouldn't have apologized.
No, of course not.
And it's also, I mean, obviously disrespecting the restaurant owner, but the staff. I feel like
the staff,
who need the biggest apology at the end of the day. So I don't know, I feel like if I was a staff member there and I saw him come back in, I'd just be annoyed. Going on your big fancy talk show to like your massive audience and being like, oh, I'm sorry I did this, it just doesn't really kind of correlate in a way.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't seem genuine.
So on to our next segment, we're covering Olivia Wilde, you know, the it girl of gossip and, you know, public hatred right now. And this time Jason Sudeikis is involved, her ex-husband. This is an interesting one. So the headlines have been saying that Jason Sudeikis tried to go under Olivia Wilde's car to stop her from driving off with her salad dressing recipe.
As we all do.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So let's unpack that one. There's a lot to unpack there. So Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis, they were married for a while. They have kids together, I think 2. And as Olivia Wilde started filming Don't Worry Darling, I think it was 2 months into it, she called off her marriage with Jason Sudeikis. And this is all alleged by their nanny, who spoke to the Daily Mail. So again, Daily Mail, not the most trusted source. The Daily Mail. But there are text receipts. So yeah, that makes it quite spicy. So apparently she broke up with him like 2 months into filming Don't Worry Darling. He was quite caught off guard by it and was quite upset. Then he found out that she was dating Harry Styles, like not too long after. Again, he was quite upset about that. Apparently Olivia Wilde has a great salad dressing recipe. Clearly, since it makes you want to get run over by a car. And she was meant to leave one night to go on a date night with Harry Styles. Jason Sudeikis was not happy about this one. So he kind of got under the car and wouldn't let her drive off, because he did not want her to take the salad and leave the kids and go to Harry Styles. The actual text that Jason sent the nanny read, she left. She just left. And the nanny goes, I don't get it. Before bed? And he goes, she left them wide awake, sitting in Daisy's bed, after shaming me for going to Kansas and not wearing a mask. The nanny says, I'll come, I'll put Daisy down. And Jason goes, took her salad and dressing and left them. Which I think is just so funny.
I feel bad for the kids.
I really do.
In your close circle, that kind of story would be like, I feel like that's something that you put on like the tab on a Friday.
Yeah.
Like, I threw myself in front of a car.
Yeah.
to stop my wife leaving.
Yeah.
But when the whole world kind of knows that story, it's a bit like.
It's kind of sad because they're both really, like, even though they've both been very famous for a very long time, I think for the first time in a few years, they're both really at like the pinnacle of their careers. Like, you know, Jason's doing Ted Lasso, like it's won so many awards. She just filmed Don't Worry Darling and was also one of the main characters in that. And it's a shame that kind of they're doing these they're doing these great things in their careers, but it is being overshadowed by this drama. But also we're not really helping because we're talking about it, so
we're not helping. I feel like it's so hard when you just hear a story that Jason Sudeikis has thrown himself in front of a car. It's so hard to be like, okay, I can move on.
Yeah, how are you supposed to move on from that? You can't. So now for our last segment, we're talking about 20-year-old Billie Eilish dating a 30-year-old Jesse Rutherford. 30 from The Neighbourhood. I know, it makes it worse. So there's a 10-year age gap, which, you know, It's not really new in, you know, the celebrity world, but it does make it worse when the youngest one is 20.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm about to make it even worse for you. So when Sweater Weather came out, famous song with the neighborhood, Billie Eilish was 11 years old. Yeah. She was 11 years old. You know, she was jamming to that song just as we were, you know, in middle school. Well, actually, she was homeschooled, but still, that kind of makes it even worse. He'd started his career when, you know, she hadn't even hit puberty yet. Yeah. And again, fans are quite unhappy because she's been in relationships before where she's been with older men, and she's even talked about it, and she has a song about it where she sings about men taking advantage of her in the industry and how, you know, they can't do that kind of anymore. And fans are sort of pointing out the hypocrisy there, that she's pointed out the kind of power dynamic in these relationships, whereas she's now entered a new one. He first met her when she was 17. There's a picture of them together. So again, you know, people aren't very happy. They think there are some allegations of grooming. I don't know, you know, if you could say necessarily that it is grooming, but it is quite dodgy that they met when she was under 18. He was 28, 27. And now, only a few years later, they're now dating. Yeah.
I feel like obviously there's factors in age gaps like that where it's a question of like maturity, and it's a question of shared experiences. Like obviously Billie's had to probably grow up really fast.
Exactly.
Her like late teenagedom in the spotlight. But what really stands out to me is that obviously if he wanted to take her out to go for like a cocktail night, say if they are like dating, she can't legally drink.
Yeah, she can't. Yeah. So
he'd have to take her out with a fake ID. And that, I feel like that's what makes it really like stand out. He's been legally drinking for like 9 years. I don't know, I feel like that's what really puts into perspective the difference for me, like it's such different stages of life.
No, it's a very good point you made that, you know, people mature differently. Like someone who's 20 might be, you know, have experienced so much in life and be very independent, like probably she is, as someone who's grown up in the industry, whereas some 20-year-olds, you know, have never left the house, like, you know, have never lived away from home, that kind of thing. And so yeah, I do see a point there that she has kind of matured differently to others, but also again, there is that power dynamic, especially because she's a huge fan of the neighborhood. She's said in interviews the first concert she ever went to was the neighborhood, apparently. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently their music like inspired her music.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So again, there's a real power dynamic there of she's looked up to this person. You know, he's the main singer, he's the main guy in the neighborhood. You know, she knows who he is. She's met him when she was younger.
And she's been like,
yeah, she's a fan, and I think there is something to say about dating a fan, even if they are also famous.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
there is that level of just like, you know, as a fan of someone, you wanna come off good to them. You wanna have that positive relationship. And as the person who, you know, on like Jesse's side of it, it's like he knows that she admires him. I think honestly not enough people are talking about Jesse.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's the one that should know better. Yeah,
like, he's the one that is on the benefiting side of the power dynamic.
Yeah,
like anything, if they are dating, like it's most definitely, you know, it's Jesse's kind of responsibility.
You know, if people are criticizing the age gap, more criticism should be leveraged towards him rather than Billie, who, you know, is allegedly, you know, the one who's more vulnerable in this situation, or more likely to be taken advantage of. Then it doesn't really work to kind of attack the victim per se.
This keeps coming out lately. I don't know what it is, just specifically.
Yeah.
Like
so many. Olivia Rodrigo, she was dating a 30-year-old, and she wasn't even 8, or she just turned 18.
Yeah.
That was bad. Yeah.
I know Tyler, the creator, is dating someone 10 years younger.
Yes. I saw that's such a shame. I love him. Like the worst of the worst is kind of like R. Kelly, who married Aaliyah when she was like 14. He married her.
Gross.
That's
so
actually
gross.
Disgusting. And Woody Allen, have you heard about that? He's married.
In little bits.
So Woody Allen.
Something about his daughter.
Yes.
His adoptive daughter.
So he adopted his daughter when she was about like 12, something, a child. And then he later married her. Yeah, and I think people don't talk about that enough.
Married her now? Like,
he's still married to her.
Jail.
Yeah, jail. Like how is he still like making movies? Like he released a movie like in like 2017 with Selena Gomez and Timothy Chalamet. I just don't understand. I really don't. It's just disgusting. It's so gross. Yeah, and I feel like it's so normalised in Hollywood, and I think it is important to call these things out. Like, yes, some of them, you know, maybe with Billy and Jesse, like, it might not be, you know, it might be a very equal relationship, whatever, but there are some very, very more, like, blatant ones that really do need to be called out because they're horrible.
I think it's just become part of the culture in,
Yeah.
like, in Hollywood and in these just, like, celebrity circles.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, sure, it's the culture, but why is it the culture?
And
like,
why
if
are we
you break it
accepting
down,
that?
even if, you know, it's like, oh no, you know, they're legally of age and all this stuff, it's like, okay, well, if you sit back, you know, why are these older like celebrities getting into these relationships?
Yeah.
And what does it say about them as people? Because I just can't imagine myself ever as a 30-year-old finding a 20-year-old attractive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
even now,
agree.
I feel like someone outside of university would be like,
I think that's
so uncomfortable,
yeah.
because it's just such different stages of life that it's like, what do you talk about, you know?
Yeah, well, on that note, that brings us to the that brings us to the end of our first episode. So thank you for watching.